If there are any inquiries coming to the college and the college is responding to them, fair enough, you get half a point. Mechanism for integration of public stakeholder community feedback. Whatever feedback you get, if you consider it worth an action and you take part in, include it in your decision making, get half a point for that. If you only need to have a mechanism that if whatever feedback comes in, you can attend to it. K7 is published information about the total cost of an academic program and availability of financial aid. That is usually there. The program fee structures are already known to people. You publicize them, even you can available, and the financial aid. Some scholarships are usually given by the HED to some students. If there are some other sources from where financial aid comes to them, that can get you a point. College budget and expenditures are open and accessible for all stakeholders. That's a crucial thing, whether people like to do that in colleges or not. Budget and expenditures are open to and accessible to stakeholders and public, because this is a requirement of the transparency. Academic and non-academic staff strength with their qualifications at college website or annual report. It shouldn't say or. I think website of the college should give the details of the academic and non-academic staff, with whatever qualifications they have. And if the annual reports are published, it should be part of that. If the annual reports are not published now, and in future they become part, then they will be included in that too. Usually it has such things. Perhaps there are student magazines in every college published activities. So if something of that sort can be published in that, this requirement gets fulfilled. Component number 2, which carries 5 points, is announcements for admission, merit list, examination through electronic and print media. Well, as far as the admission is concerned, the announcement is made by the HED, so you get automatically a point for that. The merit lists are prepared by the colleges, obviously before the admission. So if you keep a record, you get a point for that too. Then comes the examination, which is kind of periodical under semester systems. In every semester, you have a midterm and final term exam and those things. So these examinations should be given publicity, wider publicity, so everyone knows them, because we also know a case, this example came to my mind, that we went to one university where they had announced an examination and the date was publicly announced, not only, but the students were also sent direct information that your exam will start in such and such date. Whatever happened later on, but that examination date was postponed for a few days. It was shifted backwards, and the students didn't know about it. No, sorry, it was shifted forward. The date given in the notification, the exam started a few days earlier to that, and this information was not available with the students, and it made a crisis in the college. So things like that. Advertisements made during the last 2 years for admission, you must have a copy of that, you get 1 point. Merit list for students, admission, published during the last 2 years, if you have a copy of that. I mean, if you don't publish it as such, but you display it, even that can serve the purpose. Internal and external examination results published or displayed during the last 2 years, 1 point for that. And 2 points for internal and external examination results and assignments, marks shared and communicated with students and their parents. 1 point for that too. communication strategy developed for dissemination of regulation, rules, and policies. Communication strategy, policy, documents, SOPs. If they exist with you, record is there.
थोड़ा सा धक्का दें, खुल जाएगा.
Notification list of events held during the last 2 years, event calendar, if that copy is there, 1 point for that. Annual progress report, 1 point for that. Open days during the last 3 years, a record is available. So basically now I can in a way summarize that record keeping is very essential. Do not consider these to be worthless papers. Every date sheet for examination, every notification for admission, every merit list, everything, whatever record you have, its copies should be kept because they will be used for evaluation of the college's performance. And it is makes it quite easy for evaluation. Community links and outreach, the last, okay, resuming back with standard number 10, it says 9, but we'll correct it as I said earlier, carries 5 marks, linkage with community. Well thought outreach plan, well thought out outreach plan of extension projects based on social needs and educational issues of the community, 1 mark for each. It had some, our program used to have some component of social work in the past, where students would be sent to areas to do their social work, but many voluntary activities and initiatives have been taken by the college students or teachers in the local community to empower them. So if you're serving the community, you get a score for that. Participants of community members in planning and implementation of outreach programs and programs and projects, 1 point for that. Well, if sometimes the parents get involved, the parents who are interested, who have know-how, they get involved voluntarily and have colleges. But most of the time, we nowadays see the practice of political leaders, the MPAs, or now the other ones are coming, that they'll be coming. If they, they're part of the community, so they can be allowed to share the information, but they should not be allowed to basically determine the decisions. Because community, this is for the help of the community and outreach of the institution and its faculty and students to help the community with that view. Participation of the community members in planning and implementation of outreach programs. If it is there, 1 point. Involvement and active role of the staff, teachers, and students in community development outreach, 1 point for that. The last one is evidence that service of students and teachers in the community are used to support and improve the academic programs, 1 point for that. 2 points for supporting an equitable and fair community. Now, fair, equitable, and supportive policies and procedures regarding gender and minorities. This is a sensitive case. Usually our societies are careless about them, about the gender and the minorities, but if we do care about them and we keep a record, that shows a good point. It's a better practice. Goes into the credit of the institution. And community links and outreach programs project in a conducive, open, and harmonious environment and free of discrimination, 1 point for that. And that perhaps brings us to the end of the presentation. It was this, when we were carrying out the initial trainings, as I said in the beginning, when the focal persons were newly appointed and we were providing them training and orientation sessions, we provided them a manual which contains these documents. So very soon. If there are any questions, I'm open.